Today on Live Daily News, 25 dogs will be killed Thursday in San Angelo without your help. The Central High School campus on Oak Street is closing, and some of Wall High School students want to tackle contamination at Lake Nasworthy. I'm Matt Catrier, and this is Live. We will get to the news in a minute. First, business in 2024 requires a reliable, fast internet connection, and let me let you in on a little secret. When San Angelo Live launched the extensive live stream video content initiative, we shopped for the fastest, most reliable fiber network in San Angelo and found Conterra Networks. We are connected to the internet via Conterra's 1 gig up and 1 gig down fiber internet. Conterra Networks provides access to a business-oriented network. That means to bring you this live stream, we aren't competing with your kids' downloads of those 3 gig large game downloads for a Nintendo Switch. We require serious internet to broadcast live to 5 major platforms like YouTube and Facebook. If you're in business, you're serious like us, and that means you need a serious internet connection. Call Todd Smith at Conterra Networks to get serious about your internet at 325-716-8340. That's Conterra Networks, where you can call the Conterra guy on his cell phone for a no-obligation quote. Todd Smith, 325-716-8340. The city animal shelter is on the verge of euthanizing 25 dogs because of irresponsible pet owners. In a Facebook post Monday night, the San Angelo Animal Shelter faces a critical situation in that it currently has 199 dogs as of Monday. To alleviate that overcrowding, 25 dogs will be killed Thursday by 6 p.m. unless they are adopted, fostered, or transferred to another shelter. We will talk to Janie Wilson in studio Wednesday for an update. The San Angelo Independent School District is shutting down the Central High School Oak Street campus, formerly the Central Freshman Campus, in 2024. The school board voted Monday night to move all core classes to the main Central campus at the end of the school year, which is projected to save about $1 million per year. Read more on sanangelolive.com. A record surge on the Texas border Tuesday afternoon is causing serious problems in Eagle Pass and elsewhere. Fox News is reporting that more than 12,600 migrants crossed the southern border in a single day, a record high as of Tuesday afternoon. Railroad bridges crossing the Rio Grande into Mexico from Eagle Pass and El Paso remain closed. Border Patrol is reporting an estimated 3,000 to 5,000 migrants on the U.S. side and around 7,000 in Mexico. Yesterday, Governor Abbott signed a law making illegal immigration a state crime, allowing state and local law enforcement officers to arrest illegal immigrants. Open Borders supporters are outraged. This is a developing story. The San Angelo City Council Tuesday accepted a donation from Wall ISD sophomores to help efforts to clean up Lake Nasworthy. The students are part of Family, Career, and Future Leaders of America at Wall High School. They are helping the city raise awareness, educate the public, and implement projects to address contamination at Lake Nasworthy. Read more about it on sanangelolive.com. A child molester has been sentenced to prison in Tom Green County Jail. 29-year-old Larry Dela Cruz pleaded guilty in district court to continuous sexual abuse of a child younger than 14 as part of a plea bargain deal. Dela Cruz was accused of having sex with a 12-year-old child on several occasions in 2021. In exchange for a guilty plea, he was sentenced to 5 years in state prison. Read more on that story at San Angelo Live as well. West Texans can expect mild and seasonal weather the first half of this final week before Christmas. Look for afternoon highs in the 60s and overnight lows in the 40s and 50s with no rain. That all changes Thursday with a disturbance bringing rain changes to the area. There's 30% chance of rain Thursday and then a 40% chance rain on Saturday. Christmas Eve looks to be dry at the moment, as does Christmas Day. And stay with us. We have an interview segment next, followed by sports. We'll be right back after this word from the Bass Bunch.
This is a full-size truck that you can haul just about anything you can think of. And with a 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty, you can drive it with ease. And tell me this, Where can you get a full-size truck that's 10 grand off MSRP?
Get a new 24 Nissan Titan Pro 4X Crew Cab and get 10 grand off MSRP.
The Lone Star Conference recently named 2 members of the Angelo State Rams basketball team as the offensive and defensive players of the week after Angelo State's wins over UTPB and Rollins last week. Keyshawn Embry-Simpson was named Offensive Player of the Week, while Kevon Godwin received Defensive Player of the Week honors. Embry-Simpson averaged 18.8 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists over the last 2 wins. He was vital to the number 20 Rams securing another conference win and a win at the Daytona Beach Shootout. Embry-Simpson has emerged as one of the most dangerous weapons on offense from beyond the arc. In just the 2 games against UTPB and Rollins, the young man hit a combined 9 three-pointers. Meanwhile, Kevon Godwin also had 2 outstanding performances last week. The Rams guard averaged 4.5 steals and 6 defensive rebounds in the 2 games. He also averaged 18 points and 5 assists in the 2 games against UTPB and Rollins. In the game versus Rollins, Godwin had 7 steals and was absolutely instrumental in the win. Congratulations are in order to both athletes, and keep up the hard work. The Rams return to action after New Year's on Thursday, January 4th, for a conference matchup against Western New Mexico at the Janelle Center in San Angelo. Tip-off is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. And for more sports around the Concho Valley and beyond, be sure to check in every day at sanangelolive.com/sports.
If you have been injured, call J. Chandler Law. You want an honest partner who will tell it to you straight. A proven advocate right here in town. Together, let's hold them accountable.
Well, hello and welcome back. I'm Joe Hyde with San Angelo Live, the publisher. I am joined today with Jeremy Barts, who is right now, as we speak, the vice president. I made that sound like it's, you might not be that tomorrow.
Might not be tomorrow.
No, he is the new vice president of Destination Marketing Organization, DMO, which is, for those old schoolers out there, that's the tourism and conventions thing, or conventions and
Convention
tourism.
and Visitors Bureau used to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
CVB.
we have a modern name for it now. It's called DMO. So
Yep.
It sounds kind of like a, I don't know, basketball brand.
It does. It does. And that's kind of what we do. We play basketball every day. Yeah.
Basketball's part of tourism. Yeah. But anyway, Jeremy, we go back a long way.
Yes.
And the first time I met you, I mean, we just got to find out who you are. This is a funny story. So if you're familiar with the San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo, we have these pits down there where the media is right there on the dirt, and there's little holes cut out, and that's where our cameras are sticking out, and that's how we bring all those videos to you. Well, back in 2016, 2017, all of our footage was coming back with these, with this buttocks in the middle of it. I mean, and I'm like, who is this guy? He keeps getting in the way of our shots. And it
turned out to be me.
It was you.
Yeah,
it was
turned out to
always
be
you.
me.
It was never anyone else. It was always you.
Yep.
So I have a lot. I mean, we can memorialize that and put show some shots of that. But seriously,
well, you actually captured my best side, Joe.
Your best
I mean,
side.
if you really want to get down to it, that is the best side of me. No, I'm teasing. Yeah, with rodeo, I'm always in the judge's back pocket.
So what are you actually doing down there? Because I see you're always down there on the dirt,
right?
And it's usually during like the horse part.
All of our rough stock events.
All the rough stock events, you're down there. Are you actually judging?
No, I'm not judging. So my job, along with Casey Bays, which is our shoot boss, and then Pete Carr, who's our stock contractor, is to make sure that all of the rough stock events go according to plan, and then also be sure that we get those scores called up quickly to Lisa. They carry a scores box with them, and a lot of the times the judges they'll miss a number, but they'll write that number down and they'll call it out to me, and then I call that number up to Lisa to then relay
so
that to
Boyd. So how do you
Boyd.
hear it? It's like noisy as heck down there.
A lot of the times it's believe it or not, it's hand signals. So people
Really?
see me moving my hands and they think something's wrong with me. They think I've got some kind of a disorder, but I'm actually calling numbers up based on the old.
You're relaying the scores.
Just calling the numbers up
as
yes.
fast as they can
off of one side or the other.
I see.
If we're missing a judge score on one side, I can call that score up.
So if someone wants to know the score before they put it on the scoreboard, they are going to just watch you.
Sometimes if they watch me, they can get a pretty good idea. They can get at least half the score. Chris Evans done this several times. He actually watches my hands, and he'll tell somebody he's sitting with, hey, that was an 85-point right. How in the world do you know that? Well, I'm watching Jeremy because he said 82.5 on one side, and I'm guessing it's probably 82.5 on, or excuse me,
87.5.
87.5 total.
So I'm just guessing based on what Jeremy did.
I got you.
That's kind of what it works out to be. But yeah, my rear end was in your shot a lot of
all the time.
Sorry about that.
All
man.
the time. But you've gotten better in the last 2 years. I don't think we had any, Jeremy buttocks problems.
Between you and the Cowboy Channel, I have to keep my buttocks pushed up against the wall. That's all I can tell you. So
it took the Cowboy Channel, not us.
Cowboy Channel took precedence. Yeah. Sorry, Joe.
So anyway, you've been involved with the stock show and rodeo
Yes.
for years. You were working for a steel company, and by the way, you were working for the Hersh Fields.
Correct.
Who are? We all love the Hersh Fields.
Oh yeah.
And I remember doing a story about the Hersh Fields, maybe about when they sold it.
Right, about 2018,
Is that
when
it
it was sold to W&W AFCO Steel.
And I remember I interviewed David Hirschfield, and also Dennis.
Yes.
And I learned that those two had completely different ways to run a company.
They did. David was the salesperson. Dennis was more the ops guy. Mm-hmm. So when it came to personality differences, David was the quintessential businessman. I mean, he'd walk into a room and talk to everybody in the room.
Had a lot of charisma.
Had a lot of attache to him when he'd walk into a room. Mm-hmm. Dennis was more that we're going to continue business, and we're going to make this successful. And both of the leadership styles were phenomenal for the time. Mm-hmm. It worked itself out, and Dennis carried on business for years up until 2018. David was our CEO emeritus as well,
right.
Or president emeritus, and hung around. So the Hirschfeld family had a lot of input in that business overall.
But the two had such differing. I mean, they weren't opposing, but they were complementary.
They were.
They were very complimentary of each other, and that's why that was such a successful
San
Angelo business story.
I have twin girls, and their personalities are night and day. They're
right.
2 minutes apart, but their personalities are totally different. So when you look at those two gentlemen, as I call them, because they are indeed that, their personalities were different.
So tell me about. One of the big things I was just amazed about Hirschfield is all these stadiums they were doing.
Right.
I mean, these are showcases.
Oh yeah.
For example, Kyle Field,
12th man.
Yeah.
Aggieland. That's a national monument in and of itself, right?
It is.
And then when we start tearing it down and putting something else up, think of the opposition that came with that.
You get opposition?
Oh, we got a lot.
Really?
Oh yeah, you're tearing down a historic monument, man.
I mean, it's been there. The old stadium has been there since like '79. Those,
right?
I remember that.
Right.
And because I used to, I grew up in Katy, and I would go up to College Station. And I remember that you would see those, very signature walkways on the front and back of it. And I remember when they tore them down, like, oh man,
the whole world stopped.
Old Army's dead.
Old Army's dead. That's what you heard, right?
Yeah.
It'll never be the same.
Right.
And in fact, what's really cool about that stadium now is that it's engineered to sway with the crowd. When they're sawing them off, it goes with them.
That's why
it's kind of neat.
I don't like to sit up in the third tier.
I got you. That's not a great spot.
And by the way, to get to the third, this year I got some cheap seats.
Right.
Up on because
if you're on the upper deck.
Well, Jimbo wasn't winning.
Right. Yeah.
So I didn't want to spend a lot of money, so I went up on the third tier of the horseshoe.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a 4-mile walk up. I mean, that's a long way.
On ramps.
Yeah, on ramps.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And the ramps kind of give me a little bit of PTSD because I was in the Corps Cadets today.
Right.
And that's where the upperclassmen would take you on those runs, and you'd be going up. I mean, I ran up those ramps of the old stadium.
Oh, yeah.
And probably the same ramps, aren't they?
Most likely, fairly close anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe not exactly the same.
So what other stadiums or big projects were you involved in?
Oh gosh, we had everything from Globe Life Field. Rangers.
That's in Arlington.
Rangers.
We've covered. In fact, a couple of years ago, we covered a Midland Legacy football game there.
Right. So you had Globe Life Field. You had Heinz Field up in Pittsburgh. I mean, of all places. You're thinking Steel Town, USA. Why would they come to San Angelo? We build great stadiums. The contractor there basically said, "Hey, we want the best of the best, so we're going to go after it."
And, so you had better engineering, better
product, better delivery, better quality. Mm-hmm. Everything worked out better. And the people that work there are just craftsmen. I mean, they just are.
Right.
They're artists in and of themselves. So they put together a great product, and it's known throughout the world. And quite honestly, that's the reason that we would win some of those projects. Same thing with W&W AFCO. Mm-hmm. They had a phenomenal team. When you joined those two forces together back in 2018, it created a giant of a steel fabrication company. I mean, it was phenomenal. It was a great company to work for. They continue with the big projects now. The Sphere in Vegas was primarily fabricated. I don't remember the exact tonnage that came out of San Angelo, but it was somewhere in the neighborhood of about 6,800 tons that came out of San Angelo.
The cool thing about that is that's jobs. That's
economic
jobs. Activity.
It is. It is. It's economic development, economic growth within our town. Right. And it was huge for that time, and still is.
Right.
And continuing to this day.
Okay, so fast forward. What the heck does being a DMO guy? I mean, that's like, you're promoting tourism. What does that have to do with steel?
Well, if you drive across any bridge in the state of Texas on a TxDOT highway, chances are it probably came out of San Angelo. Out of our bridge shops here in San Angelo, whether it was Hersh Field or W&W AFCO.
So we need to get plaques on all those bridges.
We need to get plaques on all those bridges.
Have you ever been to Louisiana?
Yes.
Every bridge has
Huey
a plaque.
Long.
Huey Long on it, right?
Yes.
Because he was going to put a chicken in every pot.
Exactly.
And we need to put a Hersh Field steel or WWF steel thing.
We need to put a logo on every one of those bridges, just saying, "Hey, this is from us. It's from San Angelo."
So we may not have an interstate, but we have bridges over interstates.
We've got bridges over interstates. We've got bridges bringing you from places with interstates, and we'll have an interstate eventually. Right. And at some point in time, those bridges will also be fabricated, most likely here in San Angelo.
So you got on the job in September,
right?
And by the way, I was on the interview, or I was on the committee that selected. So a little disclaimer there: it was hard to find a replacement for what we had Diane Bass there. It was pretty big shoes to step into,
huge shoes,
and also finding someone from San Angelo's kind of, I would say, and this is my own opinion, that we're kind of in the balance between the has been or the born here's controlling it and the came here's controlling it. So it's kind of like. I grew up in Katy, had the same dynamic. You had the old Katy guys, and then you had all the suburban guys.
Right.
And eventually the suburban guys won out.
Right.
But San Angelo's kind of in the balance right now between those two.
We are.
And so bringing someone from the outside may not have been the right move, and that's why a lot of us advocated to bring you on. And I'm glad that you said, "Hey, I want to do it."
Absolutely. Well, it takes a special person to love San Angelo. Unless you really dive in and get into the weeds of San Angelo. I mean, and that's not a knock.
A lot
on
of
anything.
weeds here.
Not a knock on anything. But if you'll get down into the bare root of San Angelo, you start to realize how much there is here to do. A lot of people, myself included, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've spent all but 7 years of my life in this town, and there were things that I didn't know that we had. Right. And now that I'm in it, I'm looking around thinking, good grief, we got to do a better job of making sure everybody knows this is here. And we want those people to come from those other towns that they say, we just didn't know this was here. And they come in and they experience it. They get to see a little bit of hometown hospitality, which is what we're known for. I mean, if you really get down to it, San Angelo is known for its hospitality. You walk into a local restaurant here, anywhere in town, you're probably going to see an owner. You're going to see a family member. You're going to see someone that welcomes you with a hearty handshake.
Kind of like the Dunbar.
A real one,
At
right?
the Dunbar,
yes.
for example.
Yeah.
You see Mr. Blahnik there.
Yeah. You walk in, you get a hearty handshake, a real handshake.
Right.
And it's one that they are glad you're here. And that's pretty much I would say the overriding theme of all San Angelo is that we're glad you're here. We want you to come back. For years I spent time trying to hire people to come here, live, work, raise a family, all those things. At this point, I want you to come. I want you to visit. I want you to spend some time. I want you to spend a night in a hotel, go to our restaurants, visit our shops, then go home, tell your buddies, and come back.
Right.
That's what I want you to do.
Speaking of hotels, we had news drop, and I did an article about this about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks, yep.
About how the hotel industry, the hospitality industry, primarily the hotels here in San Angelo have now recovered from post-COVID highs. So now the occupancy rate is higher than it was in 2019.
Right.
And also our what they call RevPAR, which is the how much you pay
revenue per available.
It's up 17.8%.
It is growing daily.
So we're looking at about another $3 million net to the economy just in hotels.
Yes. Yes, and we're expecting that'll continue through 2024, Joe. I mean, I don't see anything slowing down. We are continually adding more events. Again, it's just one of those.
When you say events, what do you mean? It's like a convention?
It could be anything, just even small events. We have people that come in here to do a family reunion. We have people that'll come in and do a high school reunion, or they'll come in and they'll do.
And that's 200 people.
It could be 200 people at a time. We had the Texas A&M Forestry Service here just a few weeks back. Held a regional meeting right here in San Angelo. They were here for a full day. spend a night in the hotel, 250 people. They'll rotate that for the next 5 years, and then they likely will come back here. Yeah. We heard great accolades from being here. They loved that, we had the mayor there who got up and gave a great address. They fell in love with the town, and that's what we want, is people for that repeat business to come back in and show back up. Now, obviously, adding new, it could be a simple event. I mean, good grief. Anybody walk around downtown Christmas, the opening weekend of Christmas celebration?
That and you have the tour of lights that continues on.
It goes on throughout the entire month. And you drive over the bridge at the Concho River any night, you're going to see a line of cars.
One of the things I know from reading the financial, I'm going to read the Wall Street Journal.
Right.
All the smart
people read that. Right. Yeah, I'm not smart enough to read it.
Of course you
can't even spell it.
Anyway, one of the things, and there's a podcast by Peter Schiff that I listen to. If you never saw it, Peter Schiff's podcast is pretty good. He's just a little long-winded.
Gotcha.
So make sure you listen to it when to go to sleep. But the Fed is going to have to lower the interest rates next year. They've already stopped raising the interest rates.
Right, which we've heard that.
A lot of things that are happening as far as our real estate market, the ability to buy cars and things like that, depends on those interest rates. If they're going to start, tapering off this, basically they're trying to kill the economy next year. And of course, Biden wants to get reelected. I know you can't talk politics,
right.
But if a Republican there, he'd want to get reelected too. I think the economy is going to scream next year.
I think it will too.
Absolutely going to scream. And so we need to be, for San Angelo, we need to be sitting on the catbird seat, ready to take that stuff in.
Which is one of the reasons why I'm so grateful that we work in the chamber. We've got our economic development group with the Mikes. We've got our business services.
When you say the Mikes, that's
Mike Berry and Michael Looney. You put those two guys together out there drumming up business, pulling in new industry to the city of San Angelo, which is phenomenal. It's a great place for people to bring that industry in. We, on the DMO side, tag team with them quite a bit to say, hey, in your pre-visits, when you just want to come in and see what the town's all about, give us a call. We'll show you around town.
We're working with
the economic development guys, and as well as all the other members of the chamber staff. We work so well together. It's really great when I walk in every morning. I think, God, I get to go do this today. Yeah. This is a lot of fun.
And the group at the chamber that's hired, the employees and stuff there, is a very dynamic group. It's gotten that way in the last year.
And I inherited a phenomenal team of people. I mean, I really didn't know what I was going to walk into. Those folks that are with me in the DMO side, unbelievably talented, and I'm grateful to have them. And I'm hopeful that they'll stick around for a very long time.
So if you're looking at real estate, go buy some real estate. If
Absolutely.
You're looking to buy a car, go buy a car, because next year it's going to be good. You're going to make plenty of money.
You will.
You'll be able to pay for it. And if you're in San Angelo, Texas,
please come by and visit.
Well, that also, this place is prime for more growth, I think, than Austin or Houston.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they're just crowded.
Cost of living, your dollar stretches further here. Everything works better here.
Right.
We don't. There was a campaign out there. Bottlenecks are better than theirs. Whatever we want to do with that.
Right.
People didn't like it. Some people did. I don't know.
You brought up the bottleneck campaign.
But bottom line, it was one of those situations where if you drive around our town during rush hour, it lasts about 30 to 40 minutes.
And another thing about it is, like, when we had COVID, right?
Right.
All the cities were woke, shutting everything down. Everyone's triple masked out here. We pretty much
kept going.
We kept going. After about 4 days, we're like, all right, we're back to business.
It's I liken it to the rain that falls on the ground. We may get beat down. Our grass starts to turn a little brown and gets a little ugly for a little while, and then when the rains start coming in, stuff starts growing.
Right.
And that's the people of San Angelo. That's our town.
Well, Jeremy Barts, the new VP of DMO, which is the Destination Marketing Organization at the San Angelo
Chamber of Commerce. Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Joe.
And I'm Joe Hyde with San Angelo Live, and back to the studio.
So we were on vacation, family vacation, having a good time, and we get the call.
I mean, it was a river. It was a river in our house. That's the big thing, is we kept wondering, how bad is it?
It was devastating. I was like numb. It's like, how are we going to handle all this? What are we going to do? And they called Carpet Tech, and they were here within 20 minutes. One of my questions was, yes, it needs to happen, but how does it need to happen for the insurance? That was all handled, and so that was another load off of my shoulders and made me feel like we were in good hands.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Kano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Kano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
And that's it for today, guys, on the Live Daily News. I'm Matt Cottrell with San Angelo Live, and here with the team. We'll see you next time. Thanks.